Hello, everyone. I'm Pharmacist Michael. And today I'm supposed to have a guest that is going to talk about her health challenges. And I'm going to give her a little bit more time to come on here. But while we're waiting for her, I'm going to talk a little bit about the challenges that I have had as far as health and wellness goes. And I'm going to send out a message to my friends from the phone here to let them know that I am live, just in case they want to pop in here and say hi to us. So, growing up, I was a very healthy person. I played a lot of sports. I pretty much, whatever time of year it was, football, baseball, basketball, I was always outside. Um, when I got to college, I ran a lot. So, especially back, I started running in pharmacy school 10 miles a day just for the stress relief, really. So, I'd get up at 5 in the morning, always been an early riser, and I'd run 10 miles and then I'd have breakfast and go to class. So, then I started getting anxiety attacks. And this happened to me really my first year of pharmacy school. I started getting pretty severe anxiety attacks. And back then, not a lot of people knew what they were. So, hi, Laurie. Are you going to come on? I'm waiting for you. You just got to click the link. You just got to click the link and it'll bring you right in here. So, this is Laurie. She's here, sort of. I don't think she's clicked the link yet, though. So, she's supposed to be the star of my show. So we'll give her a couple minutes to get in here. Anyway, so I got anxiety attacks and nobody knew what they were. So I really spent probably 3 or 4 months just suffering with them because I honestly did think I was dying and I had no idea what was wrong with me. And then I got lucky and I found a doctor who had panic attacks when he was in medical school. So from that time, I started with what everybody did back then, especially benzodiazepines. I don't even think we were using antidepressants back then for anxiety because the only SSRI at that time was Prozac. The rest of them hadn't even came out yet. This was back in 1986, I guess, something like that. So throughout the years, I ended up the link's in your email, Laurie. I emailed it to you. So go to your email and you should see a message from sunshine.nutraceuticals@yahoo.com. Click on that and it should bring you right in here and then I'll add you to the screen. I'm using StreamYard. It's super simple to do. All you really need is your phone. And then I'll start asking you questions and we can go from there. And in the meantime, I'm going to invite some other people on here. Let's see if we can do this quickly. Okay. I'm unable to send you a link in TikTok, and that's why I didn't do it, Laurie, because I don't think TikTok allows links, which is why I had to email them. Okay, so while we're waiting for her, I'm going to go on with my story. So what ended up happening to me, guys, is once I got out of pharmacy school, I started playing in bands and I did some things that weren't super healthy for my body. And then as time went on, I just started gaining weight, falling into too much alcohol consumption, fast food, all those kinds of things. And really what ended up happening is I got myself up to about 275 pounds and I was a mess. unhappy with my job, unhappy with my life in general. And I decided that it was time to change things. So the first thing that I did is I changed what I ate and I started exercising, and I just cut alcohol out completely. And I didn't, the alcohol I stopped right away, but the other things I did slowly. Um, I didn't just start running, like I used to, but I took my time, and I really I kept a little notebook, and in the notebook I had my weight, how many miles I ran per day. I started on a treadmill, and then when I got, more confidence and started feeling better, I began to run outside. And in a period of probably 9 months or so, I got myself from about 270 down to, there's Laurie. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? My God.
I'm
Pulling my
so
hair out.
here.
Jesus,
Look at
look at my hair. Oh, look at my hair.
Hey, look at mine.
Shit.
Okay, this is going to be fun. So, where do you want to start? We're going to talk about your health issues and how you kept yourself from ending up underground. And
okay. Well, I can hear you talking I hear a taped message of you, Mike. I must
what do you
have,
mean?
oh, okay. I had two windows open. I shut the other one. Okay, now we got just one mic.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Good.
well, I have had a long history of depression, and it stemmed from being 7 years old and having an experience. And I'm not going to go into that, but you can guess. And then that set off. I had an uncle that was in the police department at that time, and he was highly decorated in Syracuse. I was from Syracuse, New York, and at that time, in the '60s, they swept things under the rug, and they didn't talk about it. And so my uncle suggested to my mother, his sister, that, just sleep under the rug, it'll go away. It'll just go away. Well, that's a long history of depression in motion. And the little girl inside of me never got heard. Never got heard. So about when I was 17 and I had a full scholarship in pre-vet med at Washington State University, and I had moved from New York to Washington State. My dad was a computer engineer. And so we moved to the Tri-Cities. And what a culture shock that was.
Yes.
Holy shit. And so I was not even 16 yet. And I was, the transition was made a lot easier because I was promised a horse. My brother had a horse. He was a booming real estate company there. And so that was my salvation, was my horse, my sports. I excelled in sports. I played, I was a speed skater. I even won trophies. My legs were like, you can't believe strong. And I did a lot of water skiing. I taught a lot of people how to water ski. I did a lot of swimming. I've done skiing, all kinds of snow skiing. Very athletic. And that's saved me a lot too in my life, I think. But the struggles, when I got to Washington State, and before I had gone to college and was at Washington State University, I had more incidents, very bad incidents happened to me in Washington. I am a multiple trauma survivor. I have had so much therapy in my life. I have been told over and over, I am a miracle to be alive. Because most children growing up in an alcoholic home, very violent alcoholic home, don't make it.
Right.
So when I got to Washington State University, my dad got real sick, and my mother didn't drive, and I'm the youngest of 7 kids, and I was the only one at home at that time. So I had to quit college and go home and take care of my dad. He had amoebic dysentery from drinking in Mexico, and he almost died, got down to 145 pounds. But after that, they decided they were going to move to San Diego. So we moved to San Diego, and that's where I spent 45 years of my life and raising 3 kids, and I'm on my 3rd marriage now. Very happily married, thank God.
That's
Only
good.
a few months. Only a few months.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So this is the 3rd one. Hopefully it's the term.
Yeah.
But anyways, I have been struggled with depression. I have been hospitalized, I think 3 or 4 times for severe treatment-resistant depression. And I have tried so many antidepressants and so many different things for anxiety, and nothing worked. And about 5 years ago now, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I did a ketamine study. And I participated in a study that went 6 weeks, and I went 3 times a week for ketamine infusions in La Jolla.
So tell me, I've interviewed other people about ketamine. So
yes.
Did it work for you?
Oh my God, yes. It was a miracle.
So the person I talked to used it for pain, but you used it for depression.
I also had chronic pain. I've had 40 surgeries, most on my back. My spine was collapsed 3 years ago, and my spine has been rebuilt, and I'm back to doing everything.
Okay, so ketamine, was that your answer?
Ketamine was the breakthrough for me. Ketamine took the brain fog away permanently until I got here in Oregon 2 years ago, and it came back. And I also had a vitamin D deficiency here.
Yeah.
Go figure. Go figure. They were putting me on prescription vitamin Ds. I'm taking prescription vitamin D still.
Yeah.
So I think probably I had a lack of vitamin D growing up, even in New York, in Syracuse.
Yeah, you probably did. So are you still doing the ketamine?
No, I couldn't afford it. It was $500 a pop. $500 a pop.
And the insurance won't pay.
And the insurance wouldn't pay. And so I struggled trying to figure out and bounced around, and finally found a psychiatrist that I could work with that worked with me. And he was from Connecticut, and he was living in San Diego. He was a miracle guy, and he was so kind. He was the best psychiatrist. He told me all my life I've had bad treatment. The psychiatrist. I went into the stories as they told me. I went into my therapist sessions with him. I told him everything. He said I was so mishandled, so misguided. And so Trintellix, he put me on Trintellix, and it worked. And to this day, it's still working, but I still struggle. I go up and down still. And I take the vitamin D, and now I'm taking all the vitamins that Mike has given me, and has told me about. And I'm starting to feel better and come back. But I'm telling you, I've had one hell of a struggle, and I shouldn't be alive. I've had so many near-death experiences. I've had lacerates given to me 3 times. I've been in every hospital in San Diego. Oh my God. But Dr. Stephen Allen in San Diego at UCSD was my miracle surgeon, performing the miracle on my back. It took the time and patience to understand what was really going on in my back. Fix that. Here I am. I've been through everything, and I've lived, and I think right now the struggles that people have and living life is so difficult.
Right.
People know that they need to know there's hope and to not give up, because I've been there. I've almost unalived myself. I've tried 3 times. But I'm supposed to be here to tell you that it does pass, and alcohol is not the solution. I tried that.
That's right.
I've tried
Yes.
that too. It's a double-edged sword, people. It takes the pain away for a little bit, but guess what? It gives you pancreatitis. It gives you liver disease. It gives you fatty liver. My dad dies of cirrhosis. It's the worst death you could possibly imagine. I watched him bleed to death after 16 units of blood given to him. He bled to death slowly from cirrhosis, from drinking. 60
Yep.
years. 60 years he drank. And he lived to be 80. I don't know how, but he did.
Some people are lucky. Some people are able to abuse their bodies for a very long period of time, and it doesn't seem to. Hi, Janet. It doesn't seem to bother them. So, Janet, we're talking about Laurie's struggles with depression. She's another ketamine miracle, but again, she ran into problems with the money because it cost a lot to get it. So she is one of the lucky ones who, I don't know how she found the right doctors, but she did.
Miracle, God. It was God. It was God.
It was God. Okay, but a lot of people give up and hi, Jetty May. A lot of people give up and they don't realize that just because one doctor tells you something, that doesn't mean it's true, number one. And number two, there are people out there, we've had one on here, the ketamine doctor that was on here that they help people every day. And some doctors, they just don't want to go down that route. But a lot of us that have had depression in the past have already tried the Prozacs and the Zolofts and the Paxils and the amitriptylines and the nortriptylines and all these other drugs, and they don't work. They don't work.
And the side effect right now I have is the lack of appetite. And nausea. I have to take Zofran every day with it.
Yep.
And I've lost 145 pounds in about 9 months. After my gastric bypass, I gained back a lot of weight. And with my lack of appetite and my struggles with emotional problems and depression, I took a turn in the last few months. And I think I was starving myself, literally. And I'm a chef and a baker.
Yeah.
I am on gorgeous food all the time. I make gorgeous food. I post it all the time. I've got tons of shit on my TikTok that I have made myself. Somebody asked me yesterday if I really made all that shit. Are you serious? Jesus
well, you never know on social media.
You were making it up.
You never know on social media.
I'm only here to love. I'm here to love people. That's it.
So Jetty May says she's tried Prozac and it made everything worse. Remember, guys, anytime you put a chemical in your body, the side effects, I mean, yes, it does work for a lot of people, but doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And the side effects are there.
Prozac made me literally want to climb the wall. That was the first thing they put me on in the hospital. And I was pacing the hallway, just pacing. It was terrible. It was awful.
Okay, Laurie, so you told me that you have up and down days. Tell me about a bad day. What happens to you on a bad day right now in your current situation?
I don't get out of bed.
Okay.
I don't go to the garden. You should see my garden. Manna from heaven out there. Manna from heaven. I go out there in the morning, and then I go out there in the afternoon. I make myself go and do things that I love, that gives me passion and joy, even though I don't feel like it. And that's what helps me. And I don't mean to sound, I'm just nervous, and I don't mean to come across as an angry person. I'm really not. But I'm angry about the way that I've been treated for all my life about this shit struggle with depression. That it's not real, and that I'm too much or I'm too little. Yeah.
And do you think, Laurie, are you convinced that this all stems from what happened to you when you were a little girl?
No, not completely. It's hereditary. My mother suffered with it. My grandmother suffered with it. My children suffer with it. So it's hereditary. And I hated to tell them, and I didn't know it. I should have figured it out, but I didn't know that. I'm learning tons of shit right now. My brain hurts literally.
Janet wants to know if you've tried Lexapro.
Oh God, yeah. Try to Lexapro too. No way. That one almost killed me. Yeah, that one almost killed me. Yep. And you know what happened when I tried that one? And I had a bad
What?
reaction, and I went to the hospital. The doctor dropped me.
The doctor did what?
He dropped me. He prescribed the
He
medication, and he wouldn't answer his phone calls when it
oh,
didn't work.
he dropped you as a patient. Yes, Jenny May. I think exercise, traveling, focusing on what makes you happy, eating
Yes,
healthy,
yes,
and
yes,
not
yes, yes.
drinking. Those are
I'm
all
walking,
extremely
walking.
good. Walking, that's what she does. Believe me, I've walked with her before. And she's little, but she walks fast.
I walk too. I walk my neighborhood here. It's gorgeous, beautiful. Flowers everywhere and swings
Janet
on the
wants to
way.
know, do you have an emotional support pet?
Yes, my cat.
She does.
My cooking and my baking and my fishing and my swimming and my gardening and my reading and my chatting all helps me.
Good. Good. Do you have more good days than bad days now on the Trintellix?
Oh yes. Oh
Okay,
yes.
that's good.
Miracles. I've been traveling. I just came back from Canada. That's on my TikTok too. I went to the coast. We went 1,600 miles in 16 days, all from
Wow.
here in Medford up to Canada and then back just a few months ago. So yeah, I'm doing good traveling and all the other things. I got a kayak and we went out to the lake. It was too windy. I couldn't put it in, but it's one of those pedaling kayaks. And I fish and I play the host that too. Yeah, there's a lot of things I do.
What's your cat's name, Laurie?
Gabby.
Gabby.
Gabriella. Gabby, like
Gabriella.
me. Well, you know, I have Ireland and I kissed the Blarney Stone, so I'm full of Blarney too.
Yeah, you did tell me that yesterday when we were chatting. You actually crawled up in there and kissed that stone.
And then I found out years later that the locals piss on it at night.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I don't know if I'd
Jesus
want to
Christ.
kiss something that all these people have kissed anyway. I mean,
Well,
especially
if you see the steps you have to go up in a spiral staircase in the cement little tiny steps that you have to go up to get to the top of the Blarney Castle, you'll kiss the stone. And I had just had back surgery 6 weeks before that. One of them.
Okay, so you've been suffering with depression for your whole life. What would you tell somebody who's younger? What advice would you give them to make it easier on them? What do you wish you would have known when you were, 30 or 40 years ago?
That there was hope after the struggles. And there was light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
And that it was not all for vain. And that there are good people out there. You just have to find them. You have to find somebody to help you. You have to reach your hand out and say, I need help. I need help. You have to let the fucking ego go. Pride goeth before the fall.
Right.
And believe me, when you let that shit go and talk to somebody about what's going on, I was in long-term therapy with a PhD psychologist that worked with children and adults that suffered with trauma. And she was my life saver. She was my first psychologist that I had. 40 years ago, and she stayed my psychologist for probably 20 years on and off. And I was able to turn to her in times of really bad troubles. And friendship, of course. And I had family. I don't have any of that here. I don't have friends and family here. So it's been one hell of a struggle.
But you have a new
So
husband.
we have a new husband. I have a husband that we met at work down there in San Diego. I worked at Vons for many, many years. A lot of people probably recognize me from there. I know that lady from somewhere. Yeah, I was the checker that waited on you, or the manager at the front end. And I started in the bakery there, and I worked my way up to the front end. And I worked there for 15 years. And so I had a lot of good friendships. But when you leave work and you retire, let me tell you about that. That's a struggle. Because
Yeah, let's talk about that.
when the people that you thought were friends, and they're lovey-dovey kind, and you're sharing, and you're doing potlucks, and everything's hunky-dory, the minute you walk out that door, you're gone. Out of sight, out of mind. I found that out the hard way when I tried to call them and be friends with them. And it's like, oh shit, I don't work there anymore. We don't have that in common. And so I guess they figure I'm just, I don't know.
You
I
know,
thought I was
I
unforgettable.
went through, I didn't retire, but I left jobs, and people that I thought were very close to me, they're just gone. They,
Yep.
you know,
Isn't that
and
amazing?
it really surprises me because some of these people I knew
Me
for a very
too.
long time.
Me too, Mike.
And I don't know, you know, it's something that I can't really.
Me neither. I can't put
What
my finger
brings
on that
you?
one either.
I'm not sure if you can see the questions I'm popping up here, so I'm just asking them to you. What
Oh yeah, I
brings
can't see
you?
them.
What brings you contentment?
My cat, my husband, my flowers, everything with the ings, everything that I do. I'm chatting, reaching out to people, expressing that I have so much love to give, endless amount of love to give, and that you can give love to
Right.
and receive love to. And so when we go out in public, it's like it's my mission to make somebody's day and watch for the ripple effect. And it's a beautiful thing. The other day we were in line and there was an old lady, she must have been 90, and she was confused. She didn't have enough money to pay for her groceries, $32 short. I said, Dave, pay for the groceries. Pay for the groceries. Pay for the groceries. So we did. You can't believe the effect
Yes.
of watching the cashier, watching the lady, watching the bag boy, watching the customers. It was the most beautiful thing. That's what I live for. That's what I live for. That is my passion. Making somebody see that there are people that are kind and they really care.
Right. Helping other people, I think, is the single best way to bring yourself joy.
Absolutely. And even all those years I spent in Alcoholics Anonymous, I spent 12 years sober in Alcoholics Anonymous. That's the number one thing, service to others, man. It keeps you sober. Keeps you sober. Yeah. And then you find out you get rewarded too. I've been like that all my life. I used to give my mother presents on my birthday, thanking her for having me. I'm the only person I know that ever did that. It surprised her.
So Janet says sometimes having a friend that has similar relatable experiences can be a great resource, which is what AA is, right? I mean, it's a group of people who are all alcoholics.
Yeah, they call themselves a group of drunks. God.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, not everybody becomes a drunk or an alcoholic, but, you know.
And the perception that people have of an alcoholic, of somebody drinking out of a paper bag, is all wrong, people. It's all wrong.
Right. There are people that do that, but nobody ever wakes up in the morning and determines that they're going to be an alcoholic. It just doesn't work that way.
No, I inherited that too.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, there's a lot of people, I was actually talking to Janet about this probably a month ago, that, you know, they can have a glass of wine with dinner and be just fine for their entire lives. They never have a problem with it. They don't need it. They enjoy a glass of wine with dinner and that's it. And then there's others that it starts out with a glass of wine and you end up losing your family and your job and sometimes your life. So it really does depend on the person.
Exactly.
But I would say that the people that use it for the wrong reasons, to try to become less depressed, to cope.
Oh, and they don't understand it's a depressant.
Right. If you overdo it, it's going to make your depression worse.
Oh.
And it's going to make it easier for you to do very bad things because your judgment goes away.
I was under the influence of alcohol every time I attempted
Yeah,
suicide.
absolutely. And I think
It
most
gave me
people
it gave
are.
me the courage. It gave me the courage to almost do it. But God put
Yeah,
a stop on that and said, "No, Lori, you've got to be here. You've got a job to do.
that's
You got
right.
to love people. You have to love people, and that comes naturally to me. So I plan on doing that the rest of my life, loving people
And
the
helping
best way
people,
and helping people.
you know, I can tell you, you can find the smartest person in the world that's 20 years old, and they're not going to know as much as you know because you've been through so many things and you've tried different things and you've seen different things and you know thing. It's wisdom. It can only
Wisdom,
happen by time.
and just don't stop short of a miracle because it will happen to you. It
And
will
don't be afraid
happen
to
to
try
you.
ketamine. Don't be
And
afraid to try ECT. Don't be afraid to
I,
try these other things.
exactly, and I have been here 2 years and have yet to see someone for my depression because there is no one here. I have struggled with Etna, coast to coast, trying to find me somebody here and have not found anybody. So it's 2 years of TikToking. Not 2 years. I've only been on TikTok since November. So I haven't been on TikTok a year, but it saved my life since
Yep.
I've been here in Oregon because I have nothing else.
Yep.
My husband, of course, all my interests, and they are saving my life and my cat. But Jesus,
I know, that social media
don't do it.
is
Don't.
it's another double-edged sword. I mean, it's got
Su-
great things and not so great things.
suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem that
Exactly.
we go through.
Yep. Yep.
And you have to remember when you're thinking about it, the idolation that I did of suicide went on for years and years. I just thought if I went to heaven with my mother and my sister, I would be happy. That was the only way I'm going to be happy. What a dumb thing to think. So I had to learn how to rethink and
Right.
change my thoughts and get out of that idolation and say, that's bullshit. Why do I want to do that? I got too much to live for Christ's
Right.
sake.
You have to tell your story.
I will tell my story. Plan
And
on
you're
telling
telling
my
your story
story.
now. I mean, this is why I do these interviews
Yeah.
because I want people that are going through these types of things to realize number one, they're not alone. Number two, there's an end. And number three, one doctor isn't the whole medical system. It's not. There's
It's
so many
many.
different people
Keep
out
going and
there.
keep finding one. I'm looking for one that right now we've been paying thousands and thousands of dollars trying to reach out for help, and I've reached out to the wrong people. I got
Right.
some serious wrong people working with me that I had to fire. So be careful who you pick. Too. I'm
Right.
going to tell people that because I picked the wrong person looking for help. Make
And
sure
I'll
they're
tell you,
qualified.
one of my pet peeves, and it's a big one, is the insurance companies denying ketamine treatment for people that have already done everything else.
And I went through the trial. You would think I should have access to it.
I think you should.
I made it fucking possible for other people to get it. I was the guinea pig. It kind of pisses me off, that I can't find it or get it.
Yeah. Jetty May, my best friend, never had any kids and he's perfectly happy. I can tell you guys when it comes to kids, this is a whole nother subject, but you don't
Yeah,
want to have kids if you don't want to have kids.
I
It's
have
that
three
simple.
kids. I
You don't
have
want
three
to have
kids.
them if you don't want them, though. Don't do
I
that to
have
yourself.
one of my kids chooses not to have kids. She's not
Right.
having kids. She's 40 years old. She lives right where you are.
Don't let somebody else determine what you're going to do with your life. That's never a
Right.
good idea.
Right. Right. And when you're really depressed, it's easy to fall under the control of manipulative people. And that
Right.
happened to me too. That happened
Oh
to me
yeah.
too. So I'm free of abuse and neglect and other things.
So what's your silver lining, Laurie? What's a silver
Oh my!
lining to
Oh
all
my!
these things
My!
happening to you?
My silver lining is I am finally in a place that has 4 seasons. I am finally in my own home again. I can create my food. I'm a baker, I'm a chef. It gives me such joy to create. That's what I'm here for, is to create. I do all kinds of things around my house. I make all kinds of things. Stained glass windows. There's pictures of my stained glass windows all over TikTok. I've got one hanging in my living room. My silver lining is don't give up before the miracle happens to you.
That's right.
It's a miracle. I bought this house sight unseen, David. That's how bad we wanted to be here. To get the hell out of the rat race down in San Diego. And to be somewhere where it was slower, and I have an adjustment with that too, slower, and I can create in my yard now. I'm not in an apartment. I can create fishing. I can create miracles everywhere I go. Shopping, whatever the hell I'm doing. I'm just here to love, and I'm just telling you, it's hell when you're going through it, but there is
Yep.
hope, and there are the right people there. You just gotta find them.
That's right. And I agree with that 100%. And you might not, and don't give up, Jetty May says. She spent a year or 10 years in depression too, she says. So, this has
I
happened
was
to
16 years in bed. 16 years in bed, not socializing, not having any communication with my family, not having nothing but suffering in pain, physical pain, because my back had collapsed. I'd get up 10 minutes at a time and I'd have to lay down in my apartment. I hardly went outside, and when I did, it was a struggle. So believe me, if I can survive all that shit, you guys can survive anything.
What happened to your back? Did you fall or?
I was in a car accident. 1992 started it, but I had already had problems. But it got a lot worse. And just continued one by one. And the fuse here, my neck is fused, my lumbar is fused from my tailbone into my pelvis, into my spine, all the way up into my thoracic section. I'm nothing but metal. I have to be frisked every time I go to the airport.
Because you got metal inside your body, keeping it together.
I've got a jacuzzi now, a few months old. And I get in there for my sciatica. I had to call the hospital a few days ago. I had sciatica so bad I rolled over in bed and got sciatica. So I still have my struggles day to day sometimes.
Right.
But God, if I can make it and put a smile on my face and make videos and cook and bake and fish and garden and travel, you guys can do it too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that our society right now it's easier to become depressed for a lot of reasons. One, the social interaction is less. We don't get outside and do stuff enough.
Right. I wasn't allowed in the house. We were outside playing hide and seek until midnight.
Yeah.
I mean, we drank out of hoses. I hear that shit all the time. That's nothing. I still drink out of the hose.
Yep.
I mean, God, I'm alive. I'm a nature. My church is nature. I spend a lot of time in nature, and that is what saves my soul and fills me back up. I have to ground in nature. I have to be barefoot with dirty feet in nature, digging in the dirt, and that brings me the most joy ever.
That's gardening is one of the best things you can do for your mood.
You can't believe what I've got growing back there. It's a miracle.
And then you cook with it, and you're eating food that's not covered in poison.
My ear thing keeps going off.
So I think that's wonderful. You know,
Oh
there's something to
yeah.
be said for being able to cook for yourself and growing your own food and
Making
not having.
everything to do with zucchini right now.
I know that stuff grows like crazy.
Oh my God, everything zucchini. Zucchini lasagna,
Yep.
zucchini muffin, egg cups, zucchini, everything.
Yep. You can make boats out of
Zucchini
it
over
too.
pasta. Oh, you should see my pizza I make, Mike.
Yeah. I bet it's
Everything
good.
from scratch in my sourdough. Oh, I had a request to send some sourdough to Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah, they wanted me to overnight it, and I might still do it. They want 2 loaves
Well,
of my sourdough.
they can't turn their oven on down there because it's 120 degrees.
I know, and
You're having some real.
I've got a professional oven, a 36-inch oven, and
That's awesome.
it's got a convection in it. And I make challah bread, sourdough bread, French bread, Italian bread, just about any bread and rolls. Kaiser rolls. Yeah, I make it all from scratch with all the best ingredients and no GMOs, no preservatives.
Right. Are you going to try to push the insurance company to giving you ketamine again? Have you thought about
Absolutely. If I
have
can
you thought
find
about
a
making
doctor,
that your project?
yes, yes, yes,
Because
yes.
if I was you, I think I would
If I
spend
could
some
find a
time.
doctor, if I could find a doctor, we have been paying, and I still can't find a doctor. This is incredible here. It's so
Okay,
bad. The mental
here's what
health.
I'm going to do, Laurie. I don't know. Have you watched the ketamine doctor that I had on here? Have you seen that
No,
video?
no.
Okay. There is a live just like this one that I
Okay,
did with a ketamine doctor. Now this guy's in Florida, but he knows people all over. I would
okay,
call him, watch the
okay.
video, all the
All right.
information's on there,
Okay,
and I found him through one of the first people that I interviewed had severe pain and depression too, and she was bedridden, and her story's a lot like yours, but he basically saved her life
I
because
would like
she,
to know him.
he's awesome.
You know,
He's awesome.
if there was such a thing that they could prescribe in Florida for somebody in Oregon,
Well, no,
God, that
he
would
will
be
be
it.
able. No, he'll be able to find somebody I think closer to you
Okay,
because he's pretty
yeah, if he can
well
find.
connected.
I finally got a doctor this week. It's taken me 2 years to get a doctor that
I
could help
know.
me. I've had 3 doctors tell me I was too sick for them. They were pushing
That's crazy.
supplements only, and you're too sick for me. I am a doctor that only deals with metabolism. I went, oh my God, I've never heard of such a thing. 3 doctors have said I'm too sick for that.
Functional
I
doctors.
have
He's
function
probably a functional.
MD. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Well, because they don't want to have to deal with people that are sick. There's a lot of functional doctors out there now that just try to keep people well, which is not a bad plan. You know, a lot of us get sick because we don't take care of ourselves.
Oh,
But
and guess what? I'm not taking blood pressure medicine anymore.
good.
I'm off my blood pressure medicine. And I'm off the statin.
That's awesome. You know what I'm going to do, Laurie? I will send you a link to
Wow.
that guy's video.
I
I
feel
can't even
rare.
remember his name now, and I'll also put it down in the description section of this video so other people can get to it easily.
Okay. All right.
Because
Start with
that way,
me.
because I know you're going to want to come back and watch your video.
I don't know. I'm scared.
Don't be
This is
scared. You're doing great.
it's my first freaking time on YouTube Live.
I think ketamine is a great subject, and I love getting people on here that have been helped by it because I've seen it myself in
Oh my
psychiatry.
God.
I've watched it.
I had one out of body experience. Woo!
Tell me how was that? How was that?
Oh, I was above my body.
Yeah.
And then somebody was at the door or something. I don't know. The camera was off, and they keep you in a private room by yourself, and it's dark, and you're listening. You got headphones on, And so you're deep in the music and the visions that you're looking at, or your eyes are closed. And I started levitating, and then somebody opened the door, and I don't know why they did, but I saw the light, and it made me come out of it, and I pushed the door shut. And I said, wait a minute, I'm not all together yet. I was literally like a television pixelates. My body was pixelating back together, and I said, "Don't come in. I'm not together yet."
They were probably watching you. They were probably watching you on a camera, and they probably knew.
Oh, yeah, they were. They were. But it was insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's funny.
It was.
I don't think that's the worst side effect you could have, though. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Oh my God, it was wonderful. Yeah, it was wonderful. It wasn't scary. All the time, every time, 6 weeks, 3 times a week. And it was like the traffic. Have you been to the traffic in San Diego?
Not in a very long time.
Rush hour? Yeah, that was fun. Hours and hours in the car to go get ketamine 3 times a week at rush hour in La Jolla, which was like an hour and a half away.
Do you meditate?
I meditate. Breathing. I'm trying to get in better practices with deep breathing. I'm trying to incorporate chanting. I'm trying to learn to chant. I've been chanting, trying to learn, and it's, being raised Episcopalian Catholic. That's what I am, Episcopalian Catholic. And now my nature is my church and my God. I know everything I need to know from nature. The truth, even my uncle said it the best. Ralph Waldo Emerson is a distant uncle. And he said it best when he said, the truth is in nature. Yeah. You can find the truth in nature. I mean, there's a quote, I'm not quoting him directly, but he said that, and you don't have to seek the truth. The truth can be found in nature.
Yeah, well, what I can tell you is your story is amazing, and you're another. I can scratch you up to another ketamine miracle. Yeah, because that's what I call it.
Yeah, it is a miracle. The brain fog. I mean, the brain fog that I had that I lived with all my life. It was gone at the first session, and I just get a little bit of it now and then. But yeah, it's
when I retire,
it saved my life. And alcohol saved my life, but it almost took my life.
Right. Yeah. I might make ketamine my project when I retire. I might. I've thought about it. So Twinkie, Laurie has been through depression for years and years and years and years. She's had 40 surgeries. She's been in car wreck.
It didn't get diagnosed until my first child was born. And then I went into a postpartum depression and got diagnosed with a psychiatrist. That was the first time I went to the hospital. It was postpartum depression. And I suffered every time I had a child, 3 children. And every time I had really bad postpartum depression. And that would make my depression get so much worse. But I know I had it since childhood, and I know it was hereditary.
Yeah. Did you, when you were pregnant, did it make it better?
What?
The depression.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
The hormones must have made it better. Oh,
yeah.
I never even thought about that. Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I never thought about that. Wow. I'm so glad.
Because postpartum depression is a very real thing. It happens to a lot of women.
Yeah, I know it is. It's tragic.
Yeah.
And I had to go to a lactation clinic at the same time. I was breastfeeding wrong, and I had these bruises all over. And they had to help me, and the husband at the time I had to tell the doctor, would you please explain to my husband about postpartum depression? He is being horrible to me. That was the first time he knocked me out. When I couldn't stop crying after I had my first child. That was the first time I got across the face.
What?
Stop crying. I'm trying to sleep. Yeah.
So he hit you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
He
a good
hit
way.
me.
That's a good way to get people to stop crying.
Yeah. hmm Glad he's my ex.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Give him
I
to
put up with
somebody
him.
else.
I put up with him with 3 kids and 20 years on and off. On and off. Married him. Oh.
So Janet wants to know if your kids are a good support system for you now.
No, they're dealing with their own. And their own is way too much.
Okay.
And I had to let go. I had to let go. I love them. I still work on it, but no, they're no support to me at all. I don't
Okay.
hardly talk to them. I talk to one, and I stay in touch with my 3 little grandchildren. And the latest one just had surgery. He's got a very rare disease. It's called Hirschsprung disease. And he, since birth, has had 3 surgeries and he's 5 years old. He just
Wow.
had his last one, and they had to do a colostomy. And they're going to, months later, go down the road. It went better than they thought. So months down the road, they're going to try to do a pull-through with him. And if you look up Hirschsprung's disease, you can find out it's a very bad disease of the large bowel. The nerves don't work. And so he has to have had sections of his colon resections off. And so it's a struggle. And because I'm not close to them, I pray for them. I send love and light to them. I'm a highly sensitive empath. And so I put a lot of love and compassion because I have been through hell. That's why I'm an empath. So I give them love and light, but I let them go. And I found out forgiving and letting go is a decision, a frontal lobe decision that anyone can make. To forgive, it's a decision. And to be happy is a decision that you can make. Frontal lobe, click the switch.
Yep.
And I've decided to be happy. And I've decided it's taken me 40 years to get to Oregon. I wanted to live. My mother started singing me songs about Oregon when I was a baby. I don't know how. In New York, I was listening to songs about Oregon. Or we go on, go witchy go away, go witchy go on, go away. I want to go back to Oregon to stay. Where you can feed the horses many a bale of hay for half of the price you pay to feed a chicken on old Broadway. My mother used to sing me that song.
Wow.
I wanted to live in Oregon since I was a baby.
That's awesome.
So I'm 67 years old. I have a right to be here now, even though I'm fighting to be here. I have a right to be here. I'm doing all my things I love because I want to be happy.
It took you 67 years to get here.
Yes. 65.
65.
I've been here 2 years. 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you get to spend your time.
And now I'm in Oregon and I'm making New York bread.
You're making New York bread. You're cooking. You're growing your own food.
And I just made basil. I did my DNA. I found out I'm Irish. I am English. I am Portuguese. I am Italian. I think that's it.
What's your favorite food to cook?
Oh, Jesus, Italian.
Italian.
My mother was 5'2". 5'2". She's a little round woman. She was wonderful. She taught me. I'm the youngest kid. 7 kids. I'm the only one that knows how to cook all her food, and most of it's Italian. So yeah.
So what's your favorite Italian dish to make?
Oh shit! Hands down, shrimp scampi over linguine, baby.
Yum.
Yeah.
God, that sounds so good.
And red clam sauce is my second favorite over linguine.
Yum.
Oh yeah, my second favorite. And my favorite. My mother used to make it. She learned it from this little Italian lady, a little Sicilian lady in New York, and it's called cagouts. And it's a vegetable lasagna made from big zucchini. She grows the zucchini above the big ones. You let them get big. and then you
Right.
slice them into rounds, and then you put them in flour, and then you put them in egg, and then you put them in egg again, and then you put them in breadcrumbs, and then you fry them, and then you layer them just like you would a lasagna. And it is the best dish. And you don't have to use breadcrumbs. My mother just used flour, and I actually prefer just flour and egg. But Italians like to do it with the breadcrumbs on the top after you do it in the flour and the egg. So they argue with me about that one. But
Wow, that sounds
you do what
yummy.
you love. Oh, try it. You will love it. I wish you were near. I give you a ton of. I gave my doctor squash. I'm going to can tomatoes. I'm going to put post up. I'm going to be picking plums soon, and I'm going to make a plum jam and blackberry jam, and I'm going to post it on TikTok.
Boy, you're a busy lady.
It keeps me out of my head.
Yes,
Keeps
and
me right here.
that's a secret to a lot of this. The secret to a lot of it, especially anxiety, even more so. Just
Absolutely.
distract yourself from what's happening in your body. That's why deep breathing and meditation and yoga and all those things work, because you don't have time to think about what's going on inside. You're thinking about something else.
And you're not. If you visit the past, it's okay to visit the past. It's okay to look in the rearview mirror. Just don't stare. Don't stare at it. Just look, but don't stare. Don't stay there, because when you live in the past, it makes your depression a lot worse. And when you're living in the future, it makes your depression a lot worse. And so if you live in the now, and you stay in the present moment, what's happening right now? You can control what's happening at this moment, at this second. It's a second. That's why they started out by saying it's 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time. Hours turn into days, days turn into months, months turn into years. I know, I did that. I have an occasional drink now, and that's why I'm not in Alcoholics Anonymous, but I was for 12 years.
Well, if you can control it.
I do. I don't. I only have a drink when I go out, and I only have one. So I don't bring it home.
I just don't do it at all. But that's, I think it's a personal choice. People, you should know
what
you can handle.
Close. It only happens once every other 6 months, so I don't do it every day. I don't go out every day to have a drink.
Yeah.
But I don't say never. I may never take a drink again, but I don't say never anymore.
Right. Okay, it's been about an hour. I want you to tell me is there anything else that you want to tell all these beautiful people watching you?
Oh man, I overshared. I guess it's the little girl in me. It's the little girl in me never got heard.
No, you didn't overshare. No, this is helping people. You got to look at this.
That's what I'm here. That's what I'm here for. I want to help people.
That's right. If you save one person that watches this video, then it was worth 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 times this amount of time in your life. If you save just one person.
That's right. And you know what? When I was in AA, I sponsored a lot of women.
Yeah.
So I love women and men.
Oh, Janet wants your recipes.
Oh, you can have them. Most of them are in my head, but I've got a lot written down. And I've got cookbooks up the yin-yang from every part of the world. And if I don't have the recipe, I go to Pinterest. And then
that's what I use too. I use Pinterest a lot. And even Instagram, you can find some good recipes on.
I don't go on Instagram anymore. I got rid of Instagram and I got rid of Facebook. I was getting scammed too much. I was getting taken advantage of too much. Yeah. I sent a computer to what I thought was a 17-year-old on Facebook, and found out after, sending her a care package with my cookies that I make and my candies and different things that I make, homemade, really put personal touches in there, and then found out she was not a 17-year-old girl. And I got scammed. So
Yeah, I don't.
I'm more careful now with monetary things, and I'm more careful with issues of the heart concerning children. I love
Yeah,
children. I miss my children.
I bet. And they
Yeah.
will. Scammers will use whatever they think will work, and then they have no. There's no
No,
end
no,
to the
no empathy.
ridiculousness. I just don't
Right.
send money to people I don't know. It's just that simple. I just don't do it. I don't. I don't. It doesn't matter what the story is, because I don't know what it. I'll help people. I'll help them all I can. But when it comes to that kind of thing, you never know who's on the other end. You just don't
Yeah,
know.
and I sent, people that were in the service were telling me they needed this $50 thing sent to their kids, $50,
Yeah, yeah,
game cards, and I fell for it several
yeah.
times because they were in the service.
Well,
And
a lot of
I've
people
got
do. That's why they do it. You can't
my
look at you learned from it though, and you don't do it anymore.
my brother is retired master sergeant in the Air Force, and my daughter was in Army intelligence. She was a Spanish interrogator, and my ex-husband was a marksman in the Army. And my other brother was in the Navy, and my cousin was in the Marines. And so my brother-in-law just died. He was 100 years old, World War II vet. He just died 2 months ago. And so it's I've got a lot of military that I love to support, but I won't do that anymore.
Yeah, you've got to there's a lot of places that you can give your money to that will go. I know Janet does a lot of stuff with military veterans. So you just got to find the right people that can direct
Legit.
you. Yeah.
I know my sister used to have them over for dinner, during the
Well,
holidays.
yeah, you're doing the right thing then, right?
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be very happy to come to your house and have dinner with you because you're
I would
super
love it.
entertaining.
I would
You're
love
super
it.
entertaining. I knew you would be entertaining. That's why I wanted to get you on here.
I wasn't sure you even remembered who you were talking to. We've been talking
Oh
since
no,
I
I
got
knew who
on
you
TikTok.
were.
Oh,
I
I
knew
didn't think
were.
you remembered. Okay.
Yeah. I always forget
Good.
where people are from. I don't know why, but Wounded Warriors. That's Janet's group. Yeah, the
Oh,
Wounded Warriors.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you see what they're, that's another topic, but they're doing wonderful things with people that are paralyzed.
Well, they deserve wonderful things.
Can you imagine? I saw one on TikTok that was walking
That's
with this
crazy.
IE intelligence making him walk,
I
stimulating his
know.
brain with implants in the brain.
That's amazing to me.
It
Yeah.
is amazing. Can you imagine Christopher Reeve's excitement up there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my dear, I think I'm going to sign off. Thank you for coming. I'm going to do
this
it.
was a
I think
blast.
I'm going to try to edit the beginning of this video out so they just get you. And
Okay.
then I will actually put some links down here for people, including yourself. So all the ketamine videos I've done, I'll put down here because I think, that is one of my big passions is ketamine. I truly believe it should be available for everybody. And I think that the insurance company should buck up and pay for it because it's a heck of a lot cheaper than Monjaro is, which they won't pay for either. But I think, there's so many people out there suffering that could be cured, or at least their
Absolutely.
lives could be a whole lot better with ketamine.
Oh, absolutely.
And it
Absolutely.
just has a bad rap because it can be abused and they use it in surgery and everybody just assumes. And I had it happen to me as a professional. I almost lost my job because I okayed it, but I'd do it again tomorrow because I think it helps people. And that's why we are in the medical field. And if that's not why you're in there, you shouldn't be there. That's my opinion.
agree. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
And to listen. Wonderful.
Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you, Mike.
I really have enjoyed this. This has been great.
I adore you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for all the good things you do.
Yeah, I try.
You're a good man, and I love that little Joshy.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's He's at the swimming pool now.
I saw him getting the baseball. Oh my God, that's cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love to your family.
All right. Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you, buddy.
All
You're the
right.
best.
Thanks. Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, I'm going to do a little editing on this, and I will put some links down in the section below. And you guys, it'll probably come out. I don't know. TikTok usually takes almost 24 hours to release these, but thanks for coming. My name is Pharmacist Michael. Be happy and be healthy.